Yes, ma'am. Huh? Yes, ma'am. Your pardon? Oh, hi. Nikki, Marty Sherman will come up to you and help you distribute the cards so that people remember which one they're doing. Okay? All right. Good morning. Shabbat Shalom. Bon dia. Bon vindos. Right? Got it right? Okay. Welcome to everybody, hopefully coming in Buenos Aires, and somewhere in Brazil anyway. We rise and we begin with our morning blessings on page 103 as we thank God for even the most normal things that we go through life, just because they really are a blessing. Page 103, please rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan la'asek v'bina la'akbim ben yom u'ben laila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shesani b'tzamo. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shesani ben chorim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shesani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokei akivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbi sharumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rakah haaretz halamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamekim et tzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa likol tzarki. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael bigvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam anotein la'ev koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam avir shenai me'inayim. Utinenu hayom uv'chol yom l'cheinu l'chesed rachamim b'einecha uve'einei koreinu v'tibleinu chasadim tovim. Baruch atah Adonai gomel chasadim tovim li'amo Yisrael. You may be seated as we continue on page 105. V'elam yedom yirei shamayim b'sater uv'gai l'Elohim. Ashreinu matov kelkeinu manaim goraleinu mayafa yerushateinu. Ashreinu shenachnu mashkimim ma'arivim erev avokim v'omrim hamayim b'kol yom. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai echad. Baruch Shem. Kadesh et shimcha mikdash shemecha v'kadesh et shimcha b'olamecha v'rishatecha tamrim v'ktek b'yarkanenu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh et shimcha b'rabim. We continue on page 110. Middle paragraph. Ki ratzon melfanech Adonai Eloheinu v'le'evoteinu v'imatenu shetitein chelkeinu b'toratecha v'nichem mitamidav shel Aharon hakohen. Ohev Shalom, Vrodev Shalom, Ohev et Abriot, and Korban La Torah. Mourners and those observing Yardside rise for the Kaddish to Rabbanan on page 111. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad yivarach Yeruteh, v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayeh dechol Beit Yisrael, v'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Leolam Ulameo Maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpoar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei kudusha brichu ve'la min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran v'alma v'imru amen. Al Yisrael v'al Rabbanan v'al Tamidehon v'al kol Tamidehon v'al kol man diaskin v'araita Divi atra hadain v'di v'chol atar v'atar Yehei lahon u'lachon shlama rabba Hina v'chista v'rachamin v'chayin arichin v'zona revicha V'kana min kadam avuhon divishmaya v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya V'chayin tovim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav Hu barachamav ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. Page 112. Hayom Yom Shabbat Kodesh Shabu Hayom. Od Yinuvum B'Sei Vadasheni Marani Miyulak Iti Asher Adonai Tzuri V'Lo Avla Tabo. Our service continues on page 120. Mizmor Shir Kanakara Baile Davi. Mourners and those observing yard side rise for the mourner's Kaddish found on page 121. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah v'almadi v'rak yeruteh v'yamlich malchuteh v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayeh dechol beit Yisrael v'agalah v'yizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach Leolam Ulameo Maya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpoar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei kudusha brichu ve'la min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen. We turn to page 122, beginning a series of psalms that we chant and go through. You'll notice if you read in English that they all talk about praising God, how wonderful God is, how powerful God is, and the rabbis note, God knows what God is and how powerful God is. The purpose of these psalms is to help us remember as we prepare for formal prayer a little later on in the morning. So please rise. We begin this section of the service. It's sort of like a spiritual calisthenics. Page 122. Baruch Shamar V'Haya Haolam Baruch Hu Baruch Oseh V'Reishit Baruch Shemo, Baruch Omer V'Yoseh, Baruch Hu, Baruch Ozer Umekayim, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Mirachem Al Haaretz, Baruch Hu, Baruch Mirachem Al Abriot, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Mishalem Sachar Tov Lireav, Baruch Hu, Baruch Haila'ad V'Kayam La'Netzach, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Podeh U'Matzil, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech. Yachid Ke'alami Melech Mishbachim B'fo'ar Adei Ad Shemo Hagadol Baruch Atah Adonai Melech Mechulal Batish Bachot. Please be seated. We turn to page 126. We join together 5 lines from the top of page 126. Hoshia et amecha, uvarech et nachlatecha, ureim, 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 v'nasem ad ha'olam. Hoshia et amecha, uvarech et nachlatecha, Ureim, 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 v'nasem ad ha'olam. Nafshenu hikata l'Adonai, Ezreinu ginenu. Kivo yismach libenu, kivo yismach libenu, ki v'shem kodsho v'atachnu. Ani v'chasecha v'atakni ageli v'b'yeshuatecha shir l'Adonai ki gam alalai. Please rise, we turn to page 132. Odu l'Adonai ki tov ki le'olam kasto. Noten lechem lechol basar ki le'olam kasto, hodu le'al hashamayim ki le'olam kasto. Please be seated. We turn to page 136. Ashrei shvevetecha od yalu chasela. Kilat Adonai daper pi vivare kol basar shem kodsho elam va'ed va'anachnu nevarech yam ha'tavi ad olam. Hallelujah. Our service continues on page 140. Hallelujah, shir Adonai, shir gadash del tobek al chasidim. Sor malchehem bezikim v'nifdechem v'kavlei varzel la'asot b'hem mishpokatu huv'hadar hulucho hasidav. Hallelujah. Just as Shabbat marks the completion of a week, the rabbis have us complete the book of Psalms. You may have noticed we just did Psalm 149. We're now doing Psalm 150. For those of you who are just back in school and groaning over having to do some work, you can now tell your teacher, hey, I finished a whole book over the weekend. Page 141. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. El Bekodsho. Hallelujah. Birkia Uzo. Hallelujah. Bigvurotav. Hallelujah. Kerov Kulo. Hallelujah. Beteka Shofar. Hallelujah. B'nei Velakinor. Hallelujah. Betofu Machol. Hallelujah, be'mining v'yugav. Hallelujah, hallelujah, be'tziot tzalei Shema. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Betzil Tzalei Trua, Kol Anshama Tehallel. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Kol Anshama Tehallel. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Baruch Hanai L'Olam, Amen v'Amen. Uvarok Shem Kavodo Le'olam V'Malei Kavodo Et Kol Haaretz. Amen v'Amen. Please rise as we continue our service on page 142. Vayavarek David et Adonai Le'nei Kol HaKahal Vayomer David. Atahu Adonai Elohim Asher Bakarta V'Avram V'Yotzeto Me'or Chasadim V'Samta Shemo Avraham Umatzata Elevavo Neman Lefanecha V'Charot Imo Habrit Latedet Eretz HaKnani. V'chayam bekakta livnehem v'yavru betokayam v'yabasha v'yadrod fehem yishlaktam mitzlot kamo even v'mayim azim v'yosha Adonai v'yomahu et Yisrael miyad Mitzrayim. Vayar Yisrael Yad Kadola Asher Asa Adonai Mitzrayim Vayiru Ha'am Adonai Vayaminu Vadonai Moshe Avdo. We continue on the fifth line on page 143, the song of celebration after experiencing the miracle of the Red Sea, a reminder to us of the power and love of God. Az Yashir Moshe Uvenei Yisrael Et Ashira Hazod Ladonai V'Yomru Lemor Ashira Ladonai Ki Gaoga Sus V'Rok V'Rama Vayam Aziv Zimratya Vayehi V'Yishua Ze'eli v'yanavehu Elohei aviromenhu Adonai ish milchama Adonai shemo. Adonai imloch leolam va'ed. Adonai imloch leolam va'ed. Ki Adonai amlucha Moshe bogoyim v'elu Moshe b'har Tzion l'shpered har Esav v'yatal Adonai amlucha v'chaya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz v'yom ahu Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Please be seated as we continue on page 145. Nishmat kol chai tevarech et shimcha Adonai Eloheinu. El betatsu moduzecha gadol bikvot shemecha hagibor lanetzach hanora benorotecha melech hayoshev al kisei ram v'nisa. We've concluded our spiritual calisthenics. We're getting ready for formal prayer. We're on page 147, where the little arrow is, where it says on Shabbat, which is the day the leader begins here. During the next course, as we get to the Amidah, the formal central part of the prayer service, the liturgy will take us on sort of a time machine travel to three of the very significant times in Jewish history: creation, revelation, and redemption from the Egyptians. As you go through either the Hebrew or English, maybe you can figure out which section of the prayers is which. We continue on page 147. Shochein ad marom v'kadosh shemo. V'fi yisharim tit alal, u'divrei tzadikim tit barach, u'vilshon chasidim tit romam, u'v'kerev kedoshim tit kadash, u'machalot rivavot amacha beit Yisrael. Odod l'alel l'shabeach l'fair l'romeim l'adel l'varek l'alei l'kalei sal kol divrei shiro fetish b'chot David ben Yishai avdecha meshichecha yishtabach shimcha la'ad malkeinu. Rachod vodaod me'ata v'ad olam baruch Adonai el melech ado batish bachot el aodaot Adonai nifot aocher b'shirei zimra melech el cheolamim yitkadal yitkadash shemei rabbah Yamati v'rakirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechonu v'yomechonu v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael b'gala u'v'zman kariv yimeru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei omaya yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yidadar v'yidaleh v'yidalal shemei dekudesha brichu v'elamin kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechmata damiran b'yamav yimeru amen. We rise, we turn to page 149, the Porachu, the formal announcement of coming to formal prayer, page 149. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. You may be seated. We continue on page 150. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvorech choshech oseh shalom. Uvorei et hakol. Hakol yoduka v'kol yoshik. Ein kircha Adonai Eloheinu ba'olam hazeh v'ein zulatcha malkei l'chayei olam haba efes biltecha goleinu limot hamashiach v'ein melech hamoshienu l'tchiat hametim. Page 151. El Adon Kol Ma'asim Baruch Borach Befi Kol Nishama Gadlo V'tuvo Male Olam Da'atu Vuna Sovevimoto Amika Alayota Kodesh V'nedar Bechavod Ala Merkava Zechutu Mishor Lifnei Kiso Chesed V'rachamim Lifnei Kivodo Tovim Me'orot Shebara Eloheinu Yitzaram B'da'at B'vina Ufaskel Koach Ugura Natan Bahem Liot Moshlim Bekerev Tevel Maleim Ziv Umefikim Noga Naziv Amechol Ha'olam Smechim B'tzeitam V'sasim Bevoam Osim B'eim Aritzon Konam Pi'er V'chavo Nonim Lishmot Zala Verina Lezeker Mahuto Kara LaShemesh Vayisrach Ora V'hitkin Surat Kavana Shevach Notnim Lo Kol Seva Marom Tiferet Ugedulas Rafim V'yofanim V'hayot HaKodesh, page 152. Le'ela Sheshava Mikol Ma'asim. Al Mirei Sha'asita Yifaru Chasela, page 153. Tiparak Sureinu Malkeinu V'Goalenu Borei Kedoshim. V'chulam potim et piem b'kedusha uv'tahara b'shimra uv'zimra uv'arakim u'mishabakim u'mafarim u'maritzim u'makdishim u'mamlichim et Shema. Lakdish liotram and achad ruach b'safav ravinima kedosha kulam ki echad onim b'yomrim be'yira kadosh 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 Adonai tziva'ot melo kol haaretz kivodo Vayofanim vayot hakodesh berash gadol minasim liumat sirafim liumatam mishabakim v'omrim baruch kavod Adonai min komo. Or Kadash al Zion Ta'ir v'nizkechu lanu meira le'oro baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'meorot. We continue on page 154. As we get to the bottom of page 154, you will notice that people will gather the fringes of the talit, what are called tzitzit, together for the recitation of the Shema. The third paragraph of the Shema contains the commandments from the book of Numbers that says we should be wearing these. By tradition, there are enough twists and knots to add up to 613, which by tradition is the number of commandments in the 5 books of Moses. We continue on page 154. Avarabaftanu Adonai Eloheinu Emla Gedola V'Teira Malta Aleinu Avinu Malkeinu Ba'avur avoteinu Shabbathu v'cha Avinu Malkeinu Atil lamden chukei chaim Kein techanenu lamdenu Avinu ha'av ha'rachaman Amrachem rachem aleinu V'tein b'libeinu lahavinu lahaskil lishmoa lilmod ulilamed lishmor velasot ukayem ekol divrei Talmud Toratecha bi'ahava v'ha'erinenu b'Toratecha v'dabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha v'yached levavenu li'ahava u'lira et shemecha v'lo nevosh le'olam va'ed v'lo nevosh le'olam va'ed ki v'shem kodshecha hagadol v'norah v'taknu Nagila v'nismecha b'yeshuatecha V'havienu l'shalom me'arba kanfot haaretz v'tolichenu komiyut le'artzenu Ki el poel Yeshuot ata uvanu v'acharta mikol hamlashon v'keiravtanu l'shimcha hagadol sela ve'emet lohodo lecha Uyachedecha be'ava Baruch atah Adonai Abocher b'yamo Yisrael be'ava Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad V'yavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha v'hayu advarim ha'eleh asher anoki mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha uv'letecha v'derech uv'shakvecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam liot ayadecha v'chayu letotafot bein einecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. We continue on page 156. We'll do the second paragraph of the Shema silently in the Hebrew or in the English, and then join together for the third paragraph, the bottom paragraph on page 156. Vayomer Adonai Moshe Lemor Daber el Bnei Yisrael v'yamarta alehem v'yasu lahem tzitzit al kanfei vigdehem l'dorotam V'natnu al tzitzit hakanaf b'til techelet v'yalachem l'tzitzit uritem oto Uzchartem et kol mitzvot Adonai v'asitem otam v'lo taturu acharei levavachem v'acharei nechem asher atem zonim achareihem leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim le'elohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Amen. L'dor v'ador kayam u'shemo kayam v'chizo nachon u'malchuto v'yemunato la'ad kayam. Emet shatau Adonai Eloheinu v'elei avotenu malkeinu melech avotenu go'aleinu go'el avotenu yotreinu tzu yeshuatenu podenu matzilenu me'olam shemecha ein Elohim zulatecha ezrat avotenu atahu me'olam. In a moment, we will continue in the middle of page 158, and then we will rise for a prayer known as the Amidah, the standing prayer. For those of you who are biblical scholars and know the book of Numbers and came here expecting to see some big altar where we would be roasting some lambs, well, we don't do that anymore. The temple was destroyed. That's not part of our services. All of that has been replaced with words, with songs, with prayers, with rituals. And that main prayer taking the place of that sacrificial part is the Amidah. And we'll do it two different ways. We'll do it silently. We'll do it then out loud together. And that is because if you're careful, knowledgeable people about the book of Numbers and the book of Leviticus also, you know that there were times there were communal sacrifices ordained, certain animals brought by the entire community, and then individuals would bring their own sacrifices, maybe to ask for favor for God, to say thank you to God, and so on. And so we have that private time when you can say your own prayers to God, and then we'll come back and do a communal recitation. So we continue in the middle of page 158. Ki lo el elyon baruch hu vorach Moshe uvnei Yisrael achanu shira b'simcha rabba v'yomru kulam mi chamocha bo'elim Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh Norah tehilot osefele shira chadasha shiva hugiulim l'shimcha svatayam yachad kulam hodu v'himlichu v'yomru Adonai imloch le'olam ba'ed. Please rise. Sur Yisrael, Kumavi Ezrat Yisrael, Uvede Kinu Mecha Yehuda v'Yisrael, Go Aleinu Adonai Tzivot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Atah Adonai Ka Yisrael. The Shacharit Amidah is found beginning on page 159. You skip page 161, continuing through page 166. If you have not concluded your recitation, please feel free to do so as we turn back for the public recitation, page 159. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'imatenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imachot, Umevi Goel Evenehem L'man Shemo v'Yahava, Melech Hoser Ufoked U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Uvoked Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Metim Atah Rav L'Hoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei Metim Berachamim Rabim. So mechnoflim verofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, michamocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach, Melech meimidu mechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman ata l'chayot metim, Baruch ata Adonai, mechayeh hametim. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, kishem shemakdishim oto bishmei marom, kakatuv al yad neviecha, v'karazel zeh v'yamar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzivaot, Melech kol haaretz kivodo. Az b'kol rash gadol, adir v'chazak mashmim, kol minasim leumat zirafim, leumatam baruch yomeru, baruch kavod Adonai mimkomo, mimkomcha malkeinu, Malkeinu Tofia, V'timlo Chaleinu, Kimacha Kimanachnu Lach, Matai Timloch, Timloch V'tzion, Matai Timloch V'tzion. Bekarvi Amenu leolam va'et tishkon. Bekarvi Amenu leolam va'et tishkon. Titgadal v'titgadash, Titgadal v'titgadash, B'tok Yerushalayim ircha. Ledor vador, lenetzach netzakim. Ledor vador, lenetzach netzakim. V'einenu tirena malchutecha, kadavar ha'amur, b'shirei uzecha. Al Yedei David, Mashiach Tzidkecha. Al Yedei David, Mashiach Tzidkecha. Yimloch Adonai leolam, Elohai Yixion, Ledor vador, Hallelujah. Ledor vador, Nagid Godlecha, L'netzach netzakim kedushatcha nagish, V'shivchacha Eloheinu mipinu lo yishlelam v'ed, Ki Hamelech gadol v'kadosh ata baruch ata Adonai ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. We continue with the second paragraph on page 162. Please join in if you'd like. Yismach Moshe b'matnat kelko ki even ne'eman, karata lo kalil tiferet b'rosho natata b'yamdo lefanecha al har Sinai u'shnei luchot avanim. Read biyado, v'chatu b'hem shemirat Shabbat, v'chatu b'hem shemirat Shabbat, v'chein katuv b'toratecha, v'shammeru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. Lasot et ha-Shabbat dorotam berit olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim v'et haaretz Uvayom Ashvi Shabbat Vayinafash. Page 163. V'lo netato Adonai Eloheinu goy aratzot, v'lo inchalto malkeinu liavdei fisilim, v'gam menukato lo yishkenu arilim, ki Yisrael mecha netato b'yava lezera Yaakov asher bam bacharta, Amikadesh Shvi'i Kulam Yivu Vitangu Mituvecha Ashvi Ratzita Bovakidashto Hemdatim Imoto Karata Zeker Lamasev Reishi Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Ritzei Vimenuchatenu Kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha v'tein chalkenu b'toratecha Sabe'enu mituvecha v'samchenu b'yeshuatecha v'taher libeinu v'yavdecha b'yemet v'anchilenu Adonai Eloheinu b'ahava u'bratzon Shabbat Kodechecha b'anuchu vo Yisrael Mikadeshei Shemecha Baruch Atah Adonai Mikadesh Shabbat Britz Adonai Eloheinu b'Amka Yisrael v'tfilatam v'ashevet avodah litvir beitecha v'tfilatam b'avatim b'baratzon litil ratzon tamid avodah Yisrael amecha v'teches aneinu b'shuvecha l'tzion barachamim baruch atah Adonai amachadir shkinato l'tzion modim anachnu lah. Atov kilo chalorachamecha v'amrachem kilo tamu chasadecha me'olam kivinu lach v'al kulam yitbarach v'tramam shimcha malkeinu tamid le'olam va'ed v'chol hachayim yodu chasela v'yalalu et shimcha b'yemet ta'el yeshuatenu v'resratenu selah baruch atah Adonai Atov Shimcha Ulachana El Hodot. Continue the top of page 165. Eloheinu v'Elokei Avotenu Barakenu Barakam Shuleshet Batorah Hatuval Yedei Moshe Avdecha Amorami Pi Aaron Uvanav Kohanim Am Kedoshecha Ka'amur Yivarechecha Adonai V'yishmerecha Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha Yis Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Our prayer for peace in the middle of page 165. Sim shalom, please join in. Sim shalom tova uvracha chen v'chesed v'rachamim Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael amecha Barkeinu avinu kulanu ki echad bior panecha Ki bior panecha natatalanu Adonai Eloheinu Torat Chaim v'ahavat chesed u'tzedaka u'beracha v'rachamim v'chaim v'shalom v'rachamim v'chaim v'shalom v'tov b'einecha levarech et amecha Yisrael B'chol eitu v'chol shabi shlomecha Baruch atah Adonai Amvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We turn to page 167, the Kaddish Shalem, which marks the conclusion of the Shacharit service, the first of several services that you get to sit through and join in this morning. Page 167. Yitkadav Shemei Rabbah Yamadi Barakute V'Amlik Malkute B'Chaye Kon V'Yomei Kon V'Chaye D'Chol Beit Yisrael B'Galav Yizman Kari V'Yimaru Amen Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevorach V'Yolam Le'omei Omaya Yitbarak V'Yishtabak V'Yitpoar V'Mam Yitnaseh V'Yidadar V'Yidalev V'Yidalal Shemei D'Kudesha Richu Ve'lamin ko berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechmata damiran bi'ama v'yimeru. Amen. Tikabal zolot konavot kondo kol Yisrael kadama v'hondi v'shmaya v'yimeru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleni v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. Oseh shalom imromav uyaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. In a moment, we will open the ark and take out one of the scrolls, one of the 5 books of Moses. Each of the scrolls that you will see has all 5 books of Moses in them. We have more than one because sometimes on certain holidays or observances, we have to read from 2 or 3 sections of the biblical text, and it's just a lot easier if you have a scroll already rolled to the right place, rather than, for example, be in the book of Genesis and then have to read something from the book of Numbers. You have to roll the scroll all the way around. Now, the other thing you should note is that Hebrew is an alphabet of consonants. There are no vowels in Hebrew, and so the biblical text is written just in consonants. So if you think about the sentence, I love you, without the vowels, that's what it's like trying to figure out the Hebrew text. Now obviously, since then we've put in vowels, but we don't in the scroll itself. There's also no punctuation, and so it becomes quite a challenge. And I'm honored that several family members have accepted that challenge and will be reading for us. I now call forward Isaac and his parents. One of the honors that comes with becoming bar mitzvah is the opportunity and the obligation to wear the talit, which has the fringes on it, fulfilling the commandment that we found a few paragraphs ago to wear the talit and remember it. So.
It's a great joy to be here today. We were there when you.
Why don't you come over here?
Oh, okay. We were there the day you were born, waiting. Kept us waiting a little while, but before we came. And you really, because you lived so close to us, lived in Baltimore for a year, then you lived in, you're almost like Moses, wandering for so many different places in so many years. Then you lived in New Jersey, then in Pennsylvania, and then we had you back in Baltimore for 2 years. And I was so proud that you went to a Jewish day school and learned so much. You come from a very multicultural background. Your father and your whole family on your father's side is from Brazil, but you have chosen to embrace our religion. And I think we had a wonderful trip when we took you and your brother and your mother to Israel. We came back and said, Dad, are you going to join us? And he sort of looked and said, so he is our token. We love him and we're so proud that he has embraced the idea. As I said, you're a very multicultural young man. And so we're so happy to be here today. And I am not a really good sewer or needle pointer, but one of my things was to make all of you, all of my grandchildren, a Talith bag. And so I have your Talith bag. I think you have to choose the pattern. And your mother and dad got you this Talith, I think actually yesterday, from a wonderful gift shop here, with plug of that. And it's made by, I think your mom said, a Navajo, and it's a multicultural chalice, which is just absolutely, if I had gotten you one, I said, do you need one? And you didn't think you did, I would not have been able to get one. It's perfect. So you are my perfect young man. And Eli, I think, also enjoyed Israel when we went, and his grandmother will never let him forget why they take the Torah out, and he's laughing and smiling, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and he remembers. And afterwards, if anybody wants to know, just go ask him, and he will give you a wonderful answer. So I love you, and I've seen nothing but
Really like this. Not only is this made by a Navajo who happens to be Jewish as well, only in New Mexico can you be a doctor, a lawyer, or an Indian chief. So but we have a Navajo member, and the fabric is native fabric made in South America. So it's really a very special thing. You guys need to stay back up here, because I'm going to ask Linda and Ed Gross to join us. And at the time when I said good morning to people, I didn't see anybody who might have been from Brazil. So I'm going to try it again. Bom dia and bem-vindos. So if any of you have come on since.
Watching on live stream.
Huh?
Yeah, watching on the live
Oh, they're on live stream. Okay, well, so they got it twice, won't hurt. Okay, so we turn now to the service for taking the Sefer Torah from the Ark, page 168. Your shot.
Ein kamocha Elohim Adonai, v'ein kama'asecha. Malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha v'dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai yimlok le'olam va'ed. Adonai oslam motein, Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom. Rachamim Cheshiva v'irtzota et Zion. Tibnei Chomot Yerushalayim. Tibnei Chomot Yerushalayim. Ki becha levad batachnu, melech Elam v'nisa Adonai.
Eyes as the ark is open.
Vayehi b'Toa ha'aron, vayomer Moshe.
Adonai, v'yachutzu oyevecha, v'yanutzu shanecha, manecha, ki mitzyon teisei Torah, ki mitzyon teisei Torah, u'levar Adonai, Yerushalayim, Baruch Shenatan, Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan, Torah, Torah, V'yamod Yisrael, V'yushato. Page 170. Be'analameis, Be'rishmei Kadisha, Kadisha Yatira, Anai Martu Levan. Be'anarameis, Be'anarameis, Be'rishmei Kadisha, Kadisha Yakira, Anai Martu Levan, Be'eravavavavava, Be'tikadi Yoraita, Be'tachim Meshavim Be'li, Be'li Olam Yisrael, Be'tachim Be'li Amen. Turn page. his wife will then pass it on. Okay. Pass it on. More.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shema.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shema.
Adonai Adonai Yitu, Neromema, Shelo Yachdav.
Adonai Agedu, Agedu, Rabba Tiferet, Ve'anei Zavel, Kiho Bashamayim, Uva'aretz, Kiho Bashamayim, Uva'aretz, Adonai, Amamlacha, V'hamikasei lechol erosh, Romemu, Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'ishtachavu, Ve'ishtachavu, V'adom raglav kadoshu, Romemu, Romemu, Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'ishtachavu, Ve'ishtachavu, Lehar Kodsho, Ki Kadosh, Adonai Eloheinu. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. You may be seated. Isaac, you stay up here. Stay up here. You've gotten to the point in our biblical story that the Israelites are on the banks of the Jordan River. Moses is reminding the Israelites of the experiences their parents had on the journey. Moses reminds them of the powerful experience of revelation that their parents experienced at Mount Sinai, and of the need to follow God's laws and to teach these laws to their children. Our reading this morning picks up with Moses recounting the experience at Mount Sinai and then restating the 10 Commandments. He gets them a little wrong, but he's 120 years old, so we understand. Page 1015, beginning at verse 1 in the large books that say Eitz Chaim on them, Torah and commentary. When we get to the 10 Commandments themselves, it is our tradition to rise. Okie dokie. Tilly. Mr. Tilly? Okay. ויעזור וגן והושיע לו חפשים בו ונאמר אמן הכל. הבגוד אלוהינו כבוד לתורה יעל כעמוד. ושנה טובה בת רועי וחווה פאשה, right? הראשון, ברוך שנתן תורה לימו ישרה בקדושתו, ויתן בת בקים אדוני אלוהיכם חיים כולכם היום. Let's stay here.
Baruch Adonai Hamborah.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. ויקרא משה אל כל ישראל ויאמר עליהם שמע ישראל את החוקים ואת המשפטים אשר אנוכי דובר באזניכם היום ולימדתם אותם ושמרתם לעשותם. אדוני אלוהינו כרתתי עמנו ברית בחורב. לא את אבותינו כרת אדוני את הברית הזאת, כי איתנו אנחנו פה היום כולנו חיים, פנים בפנים. דיבר אדוני עמכם בהר מתוך האש, אנוכי עומד בין אדוני וביניכם בעת ההיא, להגיד לכם את דבר אדוני, כי יראתם מפני האש, ולא עליתם בהר לאמור. אנוכי אדוני אלוהיך אשר הוצאתיך מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים. לא יהיה לך אלוהים אחרים על פניי. לא תעשה לך פסל כל תמונה אשר בשמיים ממעל ואשר בארץ מתחת ואשר במים מתחת לארץ. לא תשתחו אליהם ולא תעבדם, כי אנוכי אדוני אלוהיך אלקנה פוקד עוון אבות על בנים על שלישים וערבים לשונאי ויעשה חסד לאלפים. לא עבדו שומרי מצוותי. לא תישא את שם אדוני אלוהיך לשווא, כי לא ינקה אדוני את אשר יישא את שמו לשווא. שמור את יום השבת לקדשו, כאשר ציווה אדוני אלוהיך. 6 ימים תעבוד ועשית כל מלאכתך, ויום השביעי שבת לאדוני אלוהיך. לא תעשה כל מלאכה, אתה ובנך וביתך ועבדך ואמתך ושורך וחמורך וכל בהמתך וגרך אשר בשעריך, למען ינוח עבדך ואמתך כמוך. וזכרת כי אבן היית בארץ מצרים, ויוציאך אדוני אלוהיך משם ביד חזקה ובזרוע נטויה. על כן ציווך אדוני אלוהיך לעשות את יום השבת. כבד את אביך ואת אמך, כאשר ציווך אדוני אלוהיך, למען יארכון ימיך ולמען ייטב לך על האדמה אשר אדוני אלוהיך נותן לך. לא תרצח ולא תנף ולא תגנוב, ולא תענה ברעך עד שווא, ולא תחמוד אשת רעך, ולא תתאווה בית רעך, שדהו ויעבדו, ואמתו שורו וחמורו, וכל אשר לרעך.
You may be seated. Just a second.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Moses recalls that God inscribed the Ten Commandments on 2 tablets, page 1021 at verse 19. Greg? Greg? Yamod Moshe Zalman ben Aaron v'Chava Sheni. Huh? Yes, we. It's not. Huh? He's just doing it, right? Nobody's reading it but us. Right? Who's reading it?
Come on.
I haven't even gotten to my sermon yet, they're going to sleep. There you go, it's in that book. There's a whole different one.
Okay.
He's going to sleep us.
Baruch atah Adonai Mevorach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
את הדברים האלה דיבר אדוני אל כוכם בהר מתוך האש הענן והערפל קול גדול ולא יעשה ויתהם על שני לוחות אבניהם וינם אלי ויהי כי שמעהם את הקול מתוך הקושת וההר בוער באש ותקרבו אלי כהשה שבטיהם וזקניהם ותאמרו הן הראנו אדוני אלוהינו את גדולו ואת קלו שמענו מתו האש היום הזה ראינו כי ידבר אלוהים את האדם וחי ועתה למה נמות כי תאכלנו האש הגדולה הזאת אם יוספים אנחנו לשמוע את קול אדוני אלוהינו עוד במתנו כי מי הבשר אשר שמוע קול אלוהים חיים מדבר מתוך האש קמינו ויהי.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei halam nata b'tohenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Moses reminds the people that upon hearing God's voice, they declared their willingness to observe God's commandments. Page 1022 at verse 24. Kamon Malka bat Shalom Yaakov v'Chana Shlishit. I'll show you this.
Baruch Adonai Habarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu imo ha'amim v'natan lanu et torto. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Karav atah v'shema et kol asher yomar Adonai Eloheinu va'at tedaber eleinu et kol asher yedaber Adonai Eloheinu elecha v'shmanu v'asinu v'yishma Adonai et kol divrechem v'daberchem elai Vayomer Adonai elai shamati et kol divrei ha'am hazeh asher dibru elecha etivu kol asher diberu miten v'haya levavam zeh lahem leyara oti v'lishmor et kol mitzvotai kol hayamim למען ייטב להם ולבניהם לעולם לחם להם שובו לכם לאוהליכם ואתה פה עמוד עמדי ודברה אליך את כל המצווה והחוקים והמשפטים אשר תלמדם ועשו בארץ אשר אנוכי נותן לכם לרשתה ושמרתם לעשות כאשר ציווה אדוני אלוהיכם אתכם לא תסורו ימין ושמאל בכל הדרך אשר ציווה אדוני אלוהיכם אתכם תלכו למען תחיון וטוב לכם, ברכתם ימים בארץ אשר תירשון, וזאת המצווה, החוקים והמשפטים, אשר ציווה אדוני אלוהיכם ללמד אתכם, לעשות בארץ, אשר אתם עוברים שמה לרשתה, למען תירא את אדוני אלוהיך, לשמור את כל חוקיו ומצוותיו אשר אנוכי מצווך אותם ובנך ובן בנך כל ימי חייך ולמען יאריכון ימיך ושמעת ישראל ושמרת לעשות אשר ייטב לך ואשר תירבון מאוד כאשר דיבר אדוני אלוהי אבותיך לך ארץ זבת חלב ודבש.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Okay. We get what will become the first paragraph of one of the most famous prayers in Judaism, our proclamation of faith, the Shema. It's found on page 1024 at verse 4. Tamdu, Bachalea, Bat Kersho, Tova, right? and Haskel ben Benyamin bebracha Revi'i. Okay, let's choose. Do the blessing first.
Okay. So we're going to do the lesson. Baruch hu et Adonai Hamavah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Hamavah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'ratza lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך
ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי
מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם
ושבתך ביתך
ולקתך בדרך ופשטתם
על מזוזות ביתך ובשורך וקדשתם ועל מזוזות לאדוני לטובתו בעיניך ובשורך. על מזוזות ביתך ובשורך.
Second blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temet v'hayei olam natan v'torenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Moses reminds the people that once they cross the river into the land of Canaan, they need to remember and observe God's laws. Page 1027 at verse 10. Yamdu Shalom Yaakov ben Chazkel v'bat Shelea v'Chana bat Agnes v'Yaakov Kamishi.
Baruch Adonai Hamavorah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavorah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Take your left hand over this, please.
Amen. והיה כי הביאך אדוני אלוהיך אל הארץ אשר נשבע לאבותיך לאברהם ליצחק וליעקב לתת לך ערים גדולות וטובות אשר לא בנית ובתים מלאים כל טוב אשר מלאת ובורות חצובים אשר לא חצבת כרים וזיתים אשר לא נטעת ואכלת ושבעת הישמר לך פן תשכח את אדוני אשר הוציאך מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים את אדוני אלוהיך תירא באותו תעבוד ובשמו תשבע לא תלכון אחרי אלוהים אחרים מאלוהי העמים אשר סביבותיכם כי אל קנה אדוני אלוהיך בקרבך פן יחרה אף אדוני אלוהיך בך והשמידך מעל פני האדמה. לא תנסו את אדוני אלוהיכם כאשר נסיתם במסע. שמור תשמרו את מצוות אדוני אלוהיכם ועדותיו וחוקיו אשר ציווך, ועשית הישר והטוב בעיני אדוני, למען ייטב לך ובאת וירשת את הארץ הטובה אשר נשבע אדוני לאבותיך, להדוף את כל אויביך מפניך כאשר דיבר אדוני.
Who at Adonai? No. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayeh olam atah b'tohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Cover these. We're going to pause to offer Mishaberach, a prayer for those who are ill. I have a list of names here. If you have a name or names you'd like to add to my list, I will give you an opportunity to do so, and then we'll also give the opportunity to people online. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzhak Yaakov Imatenu Sarah Rivka Rachel V'Leah V'Yivarech V'Yirapeh Et HaKolim Chava Sarah Bat Basha Rezo Bat Rose Esther Neshama Bat Sarah Esther Tenenbaum Esther Bat Abraham Diane Kazelka Raphael Yom Tov Ben Chava Sarah Jackson Martinez Terry Carr Mirit Bat Miriam Aaron Ben Chaya Golda Dan Shaw El Montano Sandra Kite Nechama Malka Bat Devorah Shoshana Manoach Avram Halevi Ben Elana Michal David Ben Rezel Kathy Barron Gila Bat Chela Glenn Shraga Ben Miriam Gila Bat Chela Bella McKinsey Hilit Solomon Nesanel Ben Sarah David Ben Yehudit Kate Brown Dave Kuchias Cecilia Levy Tobias Flato. Anybody? Anybody online?
Tamar Bat Harav Daniel Vashira.
Hakadosh Baruch Hu Yamalei Rachamim Alehem Laksi Kamador Apotam V'Yishlach Lehem Meira Refuah Shlema Min HaShamayim Refuat HaNefesh Refuat Guguf B'Tov Sha'ar HaCholim L'Chazek Edidei Haskum B'Tzarrechem Shabbat Him Lizok Refuah Kravo Lavo Hashtaber Lav Yizman Karibin Nomar Amen. When our children ask why we do God's commands, we are to teach them about our experience of slavery in Egypt and about God's miracles that freed us. Page 1028 at verse 20. Jennifer. Tamod Yafa Pesha Fega Bat Cheskel V'Bat Shechalea Shishit.
Baruch Adonai Hamdorah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
אמן. כי שלח בנך מחר לאמור מה העדות והחוקים והמשפטים אשר ציווה אדוני אלוהינו אתכם, ואמרת לבנך, עבדים היינו לפרעה במצרים, ויוציאנו אדוני ממצרים ביד זכה, וייתן אדוני אותות ומופתים גדולים ורעים במצרים בפרעה וכל ביתו לעינינו, ואותנו הוציא משם למען הביא אותנו לתת לנו את הארץ אשר נשבע על אבותינו, ותצוונו אדוני לעשות את כל החוקים האלה ליראת אדוני אלוהינו לטוב לנו כל הימים לחיותנו כיום הזה וצדקה יהיה לנו, כי נשמור לעשות את כל המצווה הזאת לפני אדוני אלוהינו כאשר ציוונו.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Moses reminds the people that once settled into the land of Canaan, they should keep the traditions that God has taught and not allow our children to turn to other gods. Page 1029 at verse 1. Tamod Rachamanya bat Cheskel v'bat Shelea Shvi'i.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. כי הביאך אדוני אלוהיך אל הארץ אשר אתה ושמה לרשתה, ונשל גויים רבים מפניך, החיתי, הגרגשי והאמורי והכנעני והפריזי והחיבי והיבוסי, שבעה גויים רבים ועצומים ממכה, ונתנם אדוני אלוהיך לפניך, והיתם אחריהם תחרים אותם, לא תכרת להם ברית ולא תכנם, ולא תתחתן בם, ביתך לא תיתן לבנו, וביתו לא תיקח לבנך, כי אסיר את בנך מאחרי, ויעבדו אלוהים אחרים, וחרף אף אדוני בכם והשמידך מהר. כי אם כה תעשו להם, כי אם כה תעשו להם מזבחותיהם תתוצו, ומצבתם תשברו, ואשריהם תגדון, ובסיליהם תשרפון באש. כי עם קדוש אתה לאדוני אלוהיך, בחר אדוני אלוהיך, להיות לו לעם סגולה מכל העמים אשר על פני האדמה, לא מרובכם מכל העמים, וחשק אדוני בכם ויבחר בכם, כי אתם המעט מכל העמים, מאהבת אדוני אתכם משמרו את השבועה אשר נשבע לאבותיכם, הוציאה אתכם ביד חזקה, ויפתחה מבית עבדים מיד פרעה, מיד פרעה, מיד מלך מצרים, וידעת יתה, כי אדוני אלוהיך היא אלוהים. Yeah, who? I'm sorry, well, that's for you, for the he. Hu Elohim, ha'el ha'ne'eman, shomer habrit v'achesed, le'ohavav u'l'shomrei mitzvotav, le'elef dor, u'mashalem l'sonav, al panav lahavido, lo ye'achar l'sonav על פניו ישלם לו, ושמרת את המצווה ואת החוקים ואת המשפטים אשר נוחי מצווך היום לעשותם.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet b'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Cover the door, please.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ויעלמה דיברה חירותי, וימליך מלכותי בחייכון, וביומכון ובחייך בית ישראל, ועגלה בזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתעשה, יתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, ושפחתה ונחמתה דמירן בימיו אמרו אמן.
Our special Maftir Torah reading is found on page 1031 at verse 9. Yamod Yitzchak ben Rachel Manya Abachor Bar Mitzvah Maftir Hazak. We call very proudly our Bar Mitzvah Isaac Lacerda. Okay, take this up. Okay. Got that, right? Take your talents and touch it here.
Baruch et Adonai Hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
V'yadata ki Adonai Elohecha hu Elohim ha'el ha'ne'eman shomer habrit v'chesed le'ochavav u'shorei mitzvotav le'elef dor u'mishalem l'necha el panav leta'avido Lo inacher leshono el panav yishalem lo v'shamarta et hamitzvah et hakukim v'et hamishpatim asher anochi mitzavecha
Hayom Lasotam.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Me too. We have to fast 4 days. All right. Give me your Pascal Ben. Pasco ben Benyamin v'baracha hagba yamod. Hershel Yaakov ben. Hershel Yaakov ben. What's your father's name? Who is it? Jason?
Yeah.
Okay. Shalom Yaakov Golel. Okay, let's take this up. Please rise. What you do is you lift it. So you do this first chair, then sit down. V'zo tatorah asher sam Moshe livnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai v'yad Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Torah, 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 Tziva lanu Moshe. Okay, so get the breastplate too. No. You may be seated. Last Saturday night and Sunday, we observed the holy day of Tisha B'Av, and we now can turn our attention to the upcoming high holiday season. Tisha B'Av reminds us of what can happen when we perform improper behavior. And so, to renew our hope that God will forgive us and grant us a life of blessing, the rabbis offer 7 special Hafturot of Consolation leading up to the high holidays. Isaac will chant the first one, famous for its first 2 words, Nachamu, Nachamu, comfort you, page 1033. There you go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza v'divarehem chane'emarim ve'emet. Baruch atah Adonai chaboker b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'bimbieh ha'emet v'tzedek. Nachamu, Nachamu, Ami, Yomar, Elohechem, Dabru, Alev, Yerushalayim, Vayikrahu, Elecha, Ki malat tziva'ah, ki nirtza Adonai, ki lakha miyad Adonai, ki flaim bechol hadotecha, kol korei bamidbar, hanu derech Adonai, yashru ba'arava, mesilah leloheinu, kol gei yinaseh, bechol char v'gi'ah, yishpalu, v'chaya he'akov lemishur, v'char kasim levikah. Venigla kivod Adonai, vera'u kol basar yachdav, ki Adonai diber, kol omer kira, ve'amar ma ikra, kol habasar hatzir, v'kol chashto ketzit hasadeh, Yahweh shatzir navel sit, ki ruach Adonai nashva bo, achen chatzir ha'am. Yahweh shatzir navel sit, udevar Eloheinu yakum leolam. Al hagavoa alila mevatzeret Zion, karimi v'koach kolei, mevatzeret Yerushalayim, harimi altirai, imri le'arei Yehuda, hine Elohechem. Hine Adonai Elohim bechazak yavo, uzro'o moshlach lo, hine zacharu ito, ufulato lefanav, kero egro yir'eh, Yisrael yikabesh telaim, uvehecho Isa alo inachel, mimadar v'sha'alo mayim, v'shamayim bezeret tikein, Bechol bashalish afar haaretz, v'shachal bapeles harim, u'gevaot v'moshnayim, mitikein et ruach Adonai, ve'ish asato yodi'enu. Et mi noat vivinehu, ve'ilamdehu, ve'ora mishpat, ve'ilamdehu de'at, ve'derech tivunot yodi'enu. Et mi hengoyim kimar midli, Ukshachad mosnaim nechshavu, hein im kadah ito uvanon hende ba'er v'chayato hende ola kol hagoyim ke'ayin negdo me'efes v'to'u nekshavu lo Bielmi tidamyun el umademut ta'arkulo apesel nasaharaj v'torev bazachav yirakenu or to hot kesef torev Kamsukan teruma et lo yerkov yifar harash hakam yevakesh lo lekachid pesel lo imot halo tedu halo tishma'u Hello, who God may rose lachem. Hello, havi noten, most note haaretz. Hayoshev al hug haaretz, vayoshvecha kahagavim. Hanotech kadosh shamayim Valkachem ka'ochel lashavet Hanotein rosnim le'ayim Shoftei eretz kata'u asah Af Benita'u, Af Balzara'u, Af Balzaresh Ba'eretz, Yiz'am, Bekam Nashaf Ba'pem Vayivashu, Utsara Kakash Tisa'em, Bielmi, Chidamuni, Beshvei Omar Kadosh Sumaron Einechem or Mivarach Elech Hautzi B'mitzvah Teva'ah Lekulam Ba B'Shem Mikra Me'rov onim ve'amit koa ish lo nedar Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam Zur kol ha'olamim tzadik bechol hadorot Ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer ve'osef, ha'meraber u'mekayem, shechol devarav, emet v'tzedek. Necheman, atahu Adonai Eloheinu, v'nechemanim devarecha, v'davarecha midvarecha, achor lo yoshuf rekam, ki el melech ne'eman, Barachaman ata, Baruch ata Adonai, Ha'el ha'ne'eman, Bechol devarav. Rachem, al Tzion ki hi beit chayenu, Ve'la'alu bad nefesh toshia, bimheira b'yameinu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mesameach Tzion bebanecha. Samcheinu Adonai Eloheinu, Eliyahu Hanavi Abdecha, U'malch Beit David Meshichecha, Bimheira Yavo, V'yagel Libeinu, Al Kiso Lo Yeshev Zar, V'lo Yimchalu, Hoda Erim Et Kevodal, Ki V'shem Kodshecha Mishpata Lo, Shelo Ichbe Nerov Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen David. Al HaTorah, V'al HaAvodah, V'al HaNevi'im, V'al Yom HaShabbat Hazeh, Shenatat lanu Adonai Elokeinu, Likedusha v'limenucha, Lechachod u'tifaret. Al Hakol Adonai Eloheinu, Anachnu modim la, Umbarachim ota, Yitbarach Shimcha, Bepi Kolchai, Tamid le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. You may now throw the candy. Okay, all the other people come up and clean up.
Was that you? Really good. That was you? Well, thank you. Yeah.
All righty. We call forward Brad Johnson, Kimberly Freeland, and Andre Lacerda. Turn back in our prayer book to page 177. Brad will lead us in a prayer for our country. Kimberly will lead us on page 178 in a prayer for peace. And then Andre will do the prayer for, Kimberly will do the prayer for Israel. Andre will do the prayer for peace in Portuguese. Okay? Read the book. Yes, sir. There you go.
Our God and God of our ancestors, with mercy accept our prayer on behalf of our country and its government. Pour out your blessings upon this land, upon its inhabitants, upon its leaders, its judges, officers, and officials, who faithfully devote themselves to the needs of the public. Help them understand the rules of justice you have decreed, so that peace and security, happiness, and freedom will never depart from our land. Adonai, God whose spirit is in all creatures, we pray that your spirit be awakened within all inhabitants of our land. Uproot from our hearts hatred and malice, jealousy and strife. Plant love and companionship, peace and friendship among the many peoples and faiths who dwell in our nation. Grant us the knowledge to justify justly, to judge justly, the wisdom to act with compassion and understanding, and courage to root out poverty from our land. May it be your will that the land be a blessing to all who dwell on earth, and may you cause all the peoples to dwell in friendship and freedom. Speedily fulfill the vision of your prophets. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. For all of them, from the least of them to the greatest, shall know me, and let us say, Amen.
A prayer for the state of Israel. Avinu Shiba Shemayim, stronghold and redeemer of the people of Israel, bless the state of Israel, the beginning of our redemption. Shield it with your love. Spread over it the shelter of your peace. Guide its leaders and advisors with your light and your truth. Help them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land. Deliver them. Crown their efforts with triumph. Bless the land with peace and its inhabitants with lasting joy. And let us say, Amen.
This is a prayer for peace on 178, but it is a version in Portuguese for our many friends and family watching on live stream and on Zoom from Brazil. Prayer for peace, apelo pela paz mundial. Que dia possamos ver o fim das guerras e do sangue derramado. Dia em que uma imensa paz envolverá o mundo. Neste dia, nações não mais farão ameaças contra outras nações. E a família humana nunca mais sentirá o peso da guerra. E todos os que ainda habitam o planeta Terra reconhecerão que nós não evoluímos destinados ao ódio e à destruição. Nós evoluímos para desfrutar da vida, trabalhar e amar. Não é necessário ser amado, só é necessário amar. O Criador do Universo ilumine os líderes de nações e comunidades com o poder da compaixão, pensamento crítico e visão, que possam claramente cumprir as missões traçadas pelo ritmo do universo, de trazer paz à Terra. E verás que nada tem o poder de amedrontá-lo ou escravizá-lo. Venceremos as feras desumanas. E nossos lares não serão devastados por guerras e conflitos triviais. Criaremos espaço para que a justiça corra forte como um poderoso e majestoso rio. E nossas vidas estarão, ao final, prontas para florescer no planeta, como os rios encontram seus destinos ao chegarem no seu lar, o oceano. Let us say, e com paz do coração digamos amém.
We call Eli forward as we turn to page 181. This is truly a unique experience for all of us. For some of you, it may be the first time you've ever been in a synagogue and heard Hebrew. Of course, most of us are familiar with English, but you also got to experience Aramaic, which some of our prayers are, and now Portuguese. So a wonderful experience for all of us. We turn to page 181 as Eli leads us in the responsive chanting of Ashrei.
Ashrei yoshvei beiteha, odot nasela. Tihila le David, aramim hai lo hai hamelech, Bar hasim halelam baet. Gadol Adonai u'mehaal ma'od velidu acha ein heker. Hadar kavod hodeha v'devrei nifle oteha asiha. Zehera Yabim Zetzikat Hayeranenu Tov Adonai Lakol Berahamav Al Kol Maasav Kevon Malchut HaMalchut Yomeru Burat HaYedaberu Malchut HaMalchut Kol Olamim Memshalteha B'chol Dor V'Ador Ein Ho Ela HaYesal Saberu Ba'ata noten להם את העולם ואיתו. צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו, וחסיד בכל מעשיו. רצון יראיו יעשה, ואת שבעתם ישמע ויושיע. תהילת אדוני ידבר פי, ויברך כל בשר שם קדשו לעולם ועד. נברך
Return to the service for returning the Sefer Torah to the Ark. Return to page 183. The Ark is open. That's your cue. Page 183.
Hallelujah et Shem Adonai, ki nizkar Shemo levado.
Odo al eretz b'shamayim, vayarem eren li'am, You may be seated. Isaac is going to offer some words of Torah to us, and then we will have some words to share about and for Isaac, make some presentations. So we ask that you stay with us and give us your attention so that we might do our very best job.
In my Hafturah, the prophet Isaiah is trying to comfort his people, the Israelites, after the destruction of the first temple. He tells them that they have been forgiven for their wrongdoings because they have paid double for all of their sins. He then talks about how, compared to God, we're next to nothing. We're like a flower or a blade of grass. Grass and flowers eventually die, but God is eternal. He also speaks more of how powerful God is and how he created everything. With these words, he's trying to tell the Israelites that if God can do everything, then he must make everything happen for a reason. Even though we are temporary, we still have a purpose in living. I think that the main reason that we are here is to take care of the earth. After all, God put Adam and Eve, the first people, in the Garden of Eden to tend and care for it, just like we should for the earth. That is why, for my Bar Mitzvah project, I am interning with Ondion Shiktel and the Conservation Carnival. The Conservation Carnival is an environmental education circus. It includes a mobile classroom and live costume performers to teach about Albuquerque's water sources and the Bosque ecosystem. Their goal is to educate people of all ages about how to conserve water and other valuable resources to keep New Mexico and the earth healthy. Thank you to Rabbi Flicker, who has put up with me for months so I can make this happen. Thank you to my brother, who is my best friend and always will be. I could not have survived quarantine without you. Thank you to my grandparents. Grandma Beverly, you have always made me feel like I'm special, and you never cease to make me laugh. And Grandpa Charles, you're a very good role model. I strive to be like you when I grow up. The same can be said for my parents, who I also look up to very much. Mom, thank you for always being there for me, no matter the circumstances. And Dad, thank you for teaching me the fundamentals of being an adult. Finally, thank you to everyone who's in this room right now. It doesn't matter if you flew for 2 hours or drove for 10 minutes. I couldn't have done this without your support. Shabbat Shalom.
Isaac, I hope that you've had as much fun studying with me as I had studying with you. You always come to study with great joy and enthusiasm. You seem to have a lot of fun exploring and learning it, not only Judaism and prayers, but also all of your other school subjects. And you love soccer. I almost didn't recognize you without a soccer t-shirt on. And you laugh at my jokes, and they're really bad, so I appreciate that. Our hope and prayer for you today is that you keep this enthusiasm, this energy, and this quest for learning. And whether or not you become a great soccer player, growing and using your great mind will get you very far. So now I ask that your brother, your parents, and your grandparents rise, that we recite the special prayer that we say when we reach a special day in our lives. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehachianu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, King of the universe, who has granted us life, sustained us, and enabled us to reach this day. You may be seated. Parents will come up and share some words with you. Make sure you speak into the microphone.
So, first, Isaac, I want to thank all of your friends, your family, and the community members from near and far who've come together. Thank you. In person and virtually to support Isaac today, to support you. I especially want to tell my niece who couldn't make it how much we miss and love her. This day could not have happened without the help of Isaac's Hebrew school teachers, both at Bnai Israel and at Nahalat Shalom. Without the CBI community that has been so warm and welcoming to Isaac and his brother Eli. And of course, to Rabbi Flicker, who's been teaching Isaac all spring and summer, tolerating late drop-offs and late pickups and lost papers and last-minute changes, and even COVID. Yes, I think Isaac was the likely exposure. And I also want to thank your dad for letting me speak first, because as probably you guys, you don't know, you probably guessed, no one wants to give a speech after Andre, so I appreciate that. Isaac, I have so much that I want to say to you today, and first I have to tell you how proud I am of you, how much I love you, and how much more joyous and beautiful my life is because of you. You once asked me why I don't brag about you the way other parents brag about their kids. I don't know if you remember what I said, but I think I said that I don't need to brag about you because it's true. It's no secret that you're kind and you're smart and you're handsome and you're funny and you're cool and you're happy and hardworking and enthusiastic, joyful, and amazing communicator. The list just goes on and on and on. However, today I am going to brag. I'm going to say it out loud. I have the best kid in the entire world, and I think everyone knows it. And I'm going to tell you, when your brother Eli was little, whenever someone would ask him just casually, "Hey, Eli, how's Isaac doing?" he would answer very matter-of-factly, "Isaac's awesome." Like, duh, didn't you know that? Anyway, Isaac, you have an amazing ability to communicate and connect with people. And even before you could talk, you had a lot to say and a lot to share with those around you. As an infant, you would look at me and make these noises, just kind of huffing, to let me know you were listening to me and you wanted to respond to what I was talking about. I can remember a plane ride at just 4 months old on the way to visit Grandma and Grandpa in Baltimore, and you would look at the other people on the plane and just roar at them, saying, "Look at me, I wanna interact with you." You said your first word at 6 or 7 months, your papaya was holding you on his lap, and I was getting ready for work. You looked at me very intensely and said, "Ma!" And "Where are you going? Why are you leaving?" And I was sort of surprised that your first words was to yell at me. You could soon express express more complex ideas. So we tried to teach you sign language like you do with your first kid, and you could sign apple and more and milk. And at about 14 months, we spent a day going to music class and doing errands, and I set you down to change your diaper, and you signed happy to me. And I was so overjoyed because I had a great day, and I'm so happy with you, and you signed back that you were happy. It's one of my cherished moments. And as you got older, you used your skills of communication to really help and affect other people. And I remember your first teacher, Maura Karen, loves to tell the story. When you were 2, you would come in and say to her, "It's a beautiful day." And she had been going through a divorce, and just those words to her helped her in a really difficult time. Now, as you've become more independent, I love, and your life is more your own, I love that you continue to communicate with me and share details of your day. And I suspect that there are not many parents whose kids, when they come home from Camp Shaver, had heard in chronological order, blow by blow, of everything that happened at camp. And I just love that you share your experiences with me and that you include me in your life. I love our conversations from the silly to the philosophical. And even more, I love seeing how you notice what those around you are feeling. You listen to their experiences, you empathize with their hurt and embarrassment, and you truly celebrate them when they are happy. About 6 or 8 months ago, I had a dream that you and Eli were at Shabbat dinner at my grandmother's house, and on top of a plastic lace tablecloth that was always there was matzo ball soup and knishes and roast chicken and lamb chops, coleslaw, boiled broccoli with schmaltz, challah, all of it. And I was sitting in my seat, and you and your brother were running around, acting wild and crazy and super happy. And I looked over at my grandparents, and they were beaming at you guys with joy. And when I woke up, I knew how much they loved you and that somehow today they would be with you. Your Torah portion tells us that God keeps the divine covenant to the 1000th generation. And as I thought about your decision to get bar mitzvah, I'm awed by the fact that your actions connect you with generations of your ancestors. You've honored those today who've come before you by honoring what was important to them. And you've done so, like Rabbi Flicker said, with enthusiasm and joy. I'm getting close to the end, guys, I promise. When I named you Isaac, I did that, number one, because I felt like I was so old and I was like Sarah having a baby at an old age. And number two, because it was the only name that your papai didn't think sounded like a bad word in Portuguese that I liked. But as a lot of people know, Isaac means one who laughs or one who rejoices, and it's the perfect name for you. You have amazing delight in the world around you. You, even before you could talk, would point at cars and be like, just getting so excited. You made everybody excited. As you grew, your interest changed, but your enthusiasm didn't. And I think I heard about 50 times at least every time you would meet a new kid, Mom, I just met my new best friend. Or when you would go to a birthday party, it was the best birthday party ever, or the best sleepover ever. Your interests and enthusiasm, the subjects of that have changed, and now it became Greek mythology, and then rhymes and jokes, and now it's book series and video games and music, but it's still that enthusiasm, and what makes you awesome. Your Torah portion also tells us to love God and observe faithfully the laws and rules that are given to us. And sometimes these seem really out of place in 2022. We've sat there and giggled many times as we've heard them. But I think they illustrate that the relationships with our family, our friends, our community, our neighbors, and the divine can feel really complex. And that these are just like principles that guide the way we relate to the divine and to others. When we were here last week, a part of the Hafturah summed up the point of all of this, and it said, learn to do good, devote yourself to justice and the wrong, uphold the rights of the orphan, defend the cause of the widow. So, Isaac, basically, in this very long speech, what I just want to say is three things. One, you are awesome. Two, I love and adore you so, so much. And three, do the right thing. I love you so much.
How much time do you have? Just kidding. Very nice. Oh, Isaac. I did have to, this thing about follow me on the speech is not true, but I did have to write this because there's just so much happening. I also want to, just to set the tone by quoting the poet Emily Dickinson, which probably could be the entirety of whatever I have to say to you. And the quote goes like this: where thou art, that is home. So really, thank you all for making the effort to be here with our family today. And I know it's an effort. We're celebrating probably the greatest, or one of the greatest young humans I have ever met, hands down, son or no son. And I think Nikki's pointed to a lot of those reasons. But this one owns major real estate in our hearts. So we feel that you are rich, and we are too. And mostly it's here. Isaac, it was sometime in November 2008. I was away on a work trip in Oahu, Hawaii, as one say. And your mother called me to tell me something important. She said something along the lines of, it's on. We have a very strong heartbeat. So I just came back from the doctor. And in hindsight, the more I think about it, and I've been thinking about it for all these years, that was the day that I also was granted a new heartbeat. I knew everything that day. I knew you were coming. So flash forward. Next thing I knew, I was cutting your umbilical cord. Next thing I knew, you were out taking those first goofy steps. I don't know if you remember that. Next thing, I was taking you to school, swim lessons, soccer practices, bike riding, martial arts, piano lessons, acting lessons, guitar lessons, summer camps, radio show recording sessions, breakdance lessons. And in the middle of all this, we witnessed you becoming a big brother. And all of this, again, to echo Ada's words, with so much joy and humor and energy, always emanating from you. It has been unbelievable. It has been so overwhelmingly amazing to be in your presence and spend the majority of your what is it, August 2nd, 4,759 days, I guess, with you. Most of those days with you. Working from home, most of those days. It's overwhelming to even think about it. It would be very easy to just say that you have a great heart, and everybody that meets you knows this. But for me, the best way to describe you is you have a lion heart. You are fierce with sensibility. You love and respect your family. You care deeply about your friends. You are just. You're fair. And most of the time we're in disbelief as we witness the wonderful kind of brother and friend and protector that you are to Eli. It's just amazing to see. You have a contagiously vibrant, positive, genuine energy and attitude. And I'll tell you, your deep insights in life sometimes even scare me. It's quite amazing. You can all see that I have a talent for stating the obvious already. But today I want to take this moment to really, Isaac, to thank you for what you've given me. Seriously, in this past 13 years, you've given me a true north, a point of reference to be hopeful, and a blinding feeling that life is beautiful, despite all the dark spots along the way. For you, buddy, I would walk 1,000,000 miles. For you, I'd give my life. You were, you still are, and always will be my little king, your hate. And yes, you have tough competition in your little brother, but in this throne here, it's a 2-seater, so I know you're happy to share with him. But no candy sharing, right, Eli? For you will see a future free of conditioning, guided by a clear and beautiful mind that you have, and a lot of flexibility, and a life filled with music, beauty, fun, laughter, people who recognize and cherish you. A life full of knowledge that it's okay to change directions and change your mind. And the freedom to express yourself to those who are interested, and even if they don't agree with you, value your perspectives in life. I hope you continue to dance happily through your fears and walk bravely over your fires. I hope you love madly, speak up, and always floss your teeth. Be good to your body and be gentle with yourself. Forgive, sleep, smile, run, ski, shake it off when you fall. And I know that whatever you believe will always be informed by what you think. I know that this brilliant mind of yours will keep learning and creating and evolving. And I know and I want and I hope you're always going to practice keeping a firm hand on the helm of your faculties and emotions and dreams, and always remain a good friend to yourself. In other words, keep it together, but keep it playful. For many years, I never had a good answer. Whenever anyone asked me what brought me here, why I moved to a different country so young and for what, I never had a reason that made sense until the day you arrived. I had no idea what home was until you arrived. I had no idea what a forever home is, and now I know that a forever home is where you and your mom and your brother are. In my many transparent moments of self-doubt, all I have to do is think of you and your brother, then I know that I'm home. My sweet lion heart, may good things come to you as you courageously face life and the risks and joys and fears, possibilities, breakthroughs, breakdowns. through the noise and the silence and all those furious roller coasters of joy and peace that you will encounter, and they will come mixed with a ton of turmoil. That will for sure cross your path sooner or later. But above all this, may levity and light be your go-to move, always. May you choose good partners in life who will challenge you, but at the same time, hold your hand, hold you in your most difficult times, and show appreciation for the absolute treasure that you are and the immense impact you have in other people's lives. Remember this, Isaac, and it's a little quicker. There's no need to be loved, only to love. So as you walk this long road, and when you're out in fear, and when those come your way, take a breath, reassess, and follow your heart. But always bathe their heart in original, authentic thinking, and above all, trust. We trust you. You must trust yourself. And in any challenging moments, even if you had something to do with creating those challenging moments, never think, my dad's going to kill me. Always think, I'm going to call my dad. I am here, and I always will be here for you. I will always stand with you, no matter how deep the mud or how tall the mountain. And when you decide it's time to go on your own way, I'm still going to be your dad. When you finally figure out you know more about life than I ever did, I'm still your dad. When you move away and take a piece of my heart with you, still your dad. Wherever I am, Isaac, I will always have room for you and open arms to welcome you. Because I know that a ship may be safe and still at the harbor, but it doesn't belong there. You will fly, and I'm always going to be your dad. Until my very last breath, I'll be so grateful for the privilege and blessing it has been to have you, little lion, call me Pops. My heart just bursts with excitement for the many years ahead of us. I want to say well done today, and the last thing I'll say to you is not written, but it's something that was given to me when I was in the 90s, when I was moving to California, where I met your mom. And I was alone and driving west into the unknown. And a good friend left me a message which absolutely set my life in a path with a velocity that I could never imagine. And that is, in the past, I'll discuss this advice to you. You may feel like you're climbing a tall mountain and you're accomplishing things and you're living and you're getting older. There will be a point where you have to make a decision. You can choose to crawl back down that same mountain on your knees, bloody knees and tired. Or you may choose to take a leap into the next thing in your life, completely unknown in the dark. I hope you take that leap. It's going to feel like you're falling very fast. And you're going to be afraid. And you're going to be alone for a moment. But all you have to do is surrender to it as a process. And before you hit the ground, your wings will spread and you fly. I love you, buddy.
And now a representative from the sisterhood will make a presentation.
Isaac, this is a gift from the sisterhood. It's a Tanakh, which is the Jewish Bible, and it's something that will help you continue in your Jewish studies and hopefully be a guidance as you go on through your life. You're an amazing young man, and you've done a wonderful job, and we're so proud of you and your family. Mazel tov.
Shabbos, everyone. On behalf of the Men's Club, I'm going to repeat the words of your parents. How much time do I have? But I'm actually going to make them a little bit more succinct. You did well, and do good. On behalf of the Men's Club, this is for you. It's a bit dated. It's the Jewish catalog, but it's very quaint and very charming and has some very good information, and it's something that you will have a good time going through. And now, representing the synagogue is Shul as president. I'd like to present you with a certificate of our mitzvah, and it's something that you may frame or put into a drawer, but always keep it in a good place, because it'll bring back memories of the day, which I know are both very good memories, and other people who will share the joy that you have when they look at it, and they will say, hey, Congregation Bnai Israel, you did a pretty good job with this guy.
We turn back in our Siddurim, page 184. Just put it up here. You can get it later. Page 184, the Chatzi Kaddish introducing the Musaf Amidah.
Yikada, v'yikada shemei rabbi, v'hamadi barak yute, v'amlik malchute, v'chayecho, u'byonecho, u'chayedecho beit Yisrael, v'agala, u'bizman karim, v'meru, amen. Yeheshmei Rabba Mevorah, L'olam Le'orei Maria, Yitbarah, V'yishtabah, Yitbor, V'yitramam, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yithaleh, V'yithalav, Shemei Kudesha, Rifu, Leila, Minkol, Birchata, V'shirata, Tushbechata, V'nefemata, Dami, Rabiyama, V'miru, Amen.
Book of Numbers, we ordained to provide an extra sacrifice on the Shabbat, so we have an additional assignment, Amidah, beginning on page 185, skipping page 187, continuing through page 192. If you have not concluded your recitation and your prayers, please feel free to continue to do so as we turn back to page 185.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibur V'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Yaakov V'Zocher Chasdei Avot Umevi Goel Livnei B'neihem Lema'an Shemo B'Yachava Melech Hoser Ufokei Umoshia Umagin Baruch atah Adonai Magin Avraham Ufokei Tzara Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei Metim Atara Lehoshia Morid Hatah Mechachel Chaim Bechesed Mechayei Metim Rachamim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Rofei Kolim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emurato Lishenei Afar Miramocha Ba'al Geburo Umiyomela Melech Meini Tumechayem Umatzmiach Yeshua V'nekema Nata L'chayot Metim Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei HaMetim Na'atzcha V'naqdisheha V'chasavtziyah Sarfei Kodesh HaMaqdishim Shimcha BaKodesh Karatu Al-Yadriyecha Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, Haaretz K'vodo, Kivodo, Malei Olam, Vishartav, Sholim Zelazeh, Baruch Yomeru, Baruch Yevod Adonai Mimkomo, U'yifren Berachamim, V'yakonam, Abraham Shema. Erev Baboker, B'chol Yom Tavim, Amayim V'yachava, Shema Omrim, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Eloheinu, Hu Avinu, Hu Malkeinu, Hu Moshienu, Ve'Hu Hashmienu, V'rachamav Sheni, Sheni Li'enei Pokai, Le'ot Lachem Le'Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohim, U'divrei Koshecha Katuv Le'mor, Lo Adonai Le'olam, Elohai Zion, Dor Vador, Hallelujah. Le'dor Vador, Le'dor Vador, Le'dor Vador, Nagid Godlecha. Dor Vador, Le'dor Vador, Le'dor Vador, Nagid Godlecha. Ulenetzach Netzachim, Ulenetzach Netzachim, Kedushata, Kedushata, Nakish. V'shivaka Eloheinu, V'hipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed. Le'dor v'ador, le'dor v'ador, le'dor v'ador, na'ikon lecha. Le'dor v'ador, le'dor v'ador, le'dor v'ador, na'ikon lecha. Ki el-melech gadol, gadol v'kadosh, gadol v'kadosh ata. Ki el-melech gadol, gadol v'kadosh, gadol v'kadosh ata. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch Shema.
Ha'el HaKadosh.
Amen. You may be seated as Isaac continues with the repetition of the Amidah, Tikanta Shabbat, page 188a.
Tikanta Shabbat, Ratzita Korbanotecha, Tzivita Perushecha, Im Sidurei Nesachecha, Neamgecha Leolam Kavodin Halu, Tomecha Chaim Zachu, V'gam Ha'ohavim Devarecha, Gidula Bacharu. Az misinai nitztavu alecha batavim Adonai Eloheinu lehagriv b'korban Shabbat harahu. Yehi ratzon yofanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'Elokei avoteinu. Hameshiv banim likulam Sheta'alenu v'simcha le'artzenu v'tita'enu v'gvulenu. Shesamasu avotenu lefanecha et karbenotechem timidim kesidram umusafim kehilchatam v'et musaf yom hashabat chazeh asu v'hikrivu lefanecha Yahava k'mitzvah ritzonecha kakatuv b'toratecha al yedei Moshe avdecha mipi kivodecha kamor ubiyom hashabat shnei kevasim v'nei shana temimim u'shnei esronim Solet mimcha belulav v'shemem v'nisko Olat Shabbat v'shabbato Alolat tatamid v'niska.
Page 189.
Yismachu b'malakutecha Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'koreh Oneg Shabbat Yismachu b'malakutecha Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'koreh Oneg Shabbat Am lekadeshei Nekadeshei Shvi'i Shabbat Kulam Yispe'u V'todu Mituvecha Shabbat Yismechu B'malakutecha Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat V'koreh Oneg Shabbat Yismechu B'malakutecha Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'koreh Oneg Shabbat U'shvi'i ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat Hemdat yamim otokarata Zecher l'ma'aseh b'reshit Shabbat Yismachu malakutecha Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'koreh Oneg Shabbat Yismachu B'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei, Korei Shabbat. Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Ritzeh, Bimanu Patenu, Kadeshenu, Ben Mitotecha, V'hei Halenu, V'toratecha, Samchenu Mituvecha, Samchenu V'yeshuatecha, V'kar Libeinu, Adonai Emet, V'kar Libeinu, Adonai Eloheinu, V'avat Uvratzon, Shabbat Kodshecha, V'yanuhu Yisrael, Mikadeshei Shemecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu, V'yamecha Yisrael, U'v'tefilatam, V'hashevet ha'avodah, Lidvir Beitecha, U'tefilatam v'achavat tikabel b'ratzon, U'tehila ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael Amecha, V'techezena einenu, V'shuvecha letzion b'rachamim, Baruch Atah Adonai, Hamachazir Shechinato letzion. Katov kilo chalu rachamecha, V'hamrachem kilo chalu chasadecha, Ne'olam kivinu la. V'yakulam yitbarach v'yitromam, Shimcha Malkeinu tamid le'olam va'ed. V'chol hachayim yodu chasela, V'yahallelu et Shimcha v'yemed. Ha'el Yeshuatenu v'yezratenu selah, Baruch Atah Adonai, Hatov Shimcha u'lechanad lechodot.
Amen. Our service continues to the top of page 191 with the priestly blessing.
Eloheinu v'Elokei Avotenu, Baruchenu b'bracha, Hamshu leshet b'Torah. Haketuvah al yedei Moshe Avdecha, Ha'amura l'pi Aharon u'banav Kohanim, Am Kedoshecha Kamor. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Sing Shalom, a prayer for peace, the middle of page 191. Please join in.
Shalom tova uvracha, chen b'chesed v'rachamim, Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael Amecha. Orcheinu ahinu kulanu piecha v'or panecha, ki v'or panecha natatat lanu Adonai Elokeinu. Torah Chaim, Torah Chaim, V'ahavat Esed, U'shtacha V'rachamim v'chaim v'shalom, Rachamim v'chaim v'shalom. Torah Necha Orete Amecha Amecha Yisrael Be'ol Eid U'be'ol Shah B'shlomecha. Baruch Atah Adonai Habarech et Amo Yisrael B'Shalom.
Amen. Kadi Shalem, page 203.
Ikudavi Kadashime Rabba, Yamadi Baraki Ute, Yamlik Malkute, Behaye Honu Yomenu Haye Devo Beit Israel, Bagalau Bisman Kari Veimeru, Amen. Yeheshme Rabba Bora, Yitbara Vishtava Vibor Vitruma Vinase, Yidhadar Vithala Vithala Shemedi Kudisha, Lami Birkata Bashirata, Shahata Venehumata, Amiram Vilma Veimeru, Tika Bel Sloan, Uva Uteho, the whole Yisrael, Kadam Avuhon, Divi Shemaya Veimeru, Yehe Shlama Rabba Mi Shemaya, Behayim Aleinu Ve'alkol Yisrael Ve'imeru. Ose Shalom V'Roma Yaseh Shalom Aleinu
Ve'alkol Yisrael Ve'imeru. Amen. We invite Eli back to the Bima to assist his brother as we turn to page 204 for Ein Kelohim.
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadoneinu, Ein Kemokeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mi Keloheinu, Mi Kadoneinu, Mi Kemokeinu, Mi Kemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adoneinu, Nodel Emokeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Tzidkiru, Lavotenu,
Rise and we turn to page 205 for the Aleinu. Aleinu Mishaveh Avodah Avodah Teishu Al Yosef Bereshit Shelo Asanu Kyoye Aratzot Velo Samanu Kanish Mavoda Adama be seated. During the past week, we marked the yard sites of Dina Pophauser, Mark Egelman, John C. Nunemaker, Martin Herman, Morris Bitkowski, Harold Gardenswartz, and Pauline Sinowitz. Mourners and those observing yard site rise for the mourner's Kaddish found on page 207. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, v'yalmad yivarach yiruteh, v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayekon v'yomekon v'chayeh dechol beit Yisrael, v'agalahu v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lameo maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitboar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudusha b'richu ve'la min kol berchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechamata damiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated for our announcements. Our President, Harvey Buckalter.
Thank you, Rabbi Flicker. I'd like to thank everyone who participated in today's beautiful service, including those who artfully threw candy. You also participated, so give yourselves a nice pat on the back for a job well done. I'd also like to thank Eli for that final burst of energy at the end, because that just knew when you do that, it's kind of like turning third base, heading home, for those of you who are still baseball fans. I'd like to welcome all of the visitors as well, and I'd like you to drop everything and sign up for coming to Albuquerque and joining our congregation. But if you decide not to do that right away, please visit our state and take in its treasures and its beauty. And we try to do everything that we can for the Jewish community here as well in our little shtibla on the Mesa congregation in Israel. A couple of important dates coming up, August 21st and August 28th. Those are the days that we will be doing interviews for our new clerical representatives here, our new clergy. And you will have received a white envelope in the mail. If you haven't received it, talking about mentioning the scheduling that's happening during that time, please see me after services and I'll make sure that you get one. It's very important that you be here at 5:30 on August 28th to vote for our new rabbi or kobol. With Rosh Hashanah coming up and Yom Kippur coming up, I would also invite those of you who are potential shofar sounders to please see Dr. Keith Harvey over here so he can properly train you to make a blast. Wasn't that funny? Okay, and so the other thing I'd like to mention about the voting, only members in good standing may vote. So that's about it. And again, thank you very much. Wonderful morning, a job so well done. And the one wish that I wish is that when you look back, Isaac, over the years at your bar mitzvah, and the people that supported you, and the people that loved you, and the people that instructed you, think well of us and carry on those thoughts for the next generations. Good job.
Don't forget, next Friday and Saturday, and the following Friday and Saturday, the rabbinical candidates will be leading services, so you get to hear them, their words, their singing, their chanting, and so on and so forth, so that on the August 28th, you can hopefully make a wise decision. We turn to page 211. We invite all of Isaac's Hebrew School classmates to join him on the bima as we share in Adon Olam.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'Terem Kol Yisir Yira V'yei Masa V'Hel Sokol Asar Melech Shema Yimlod hakol levado, Yimlod nora, Behu yaya, Behu ored, Behu yeh, Besim Torah, Behu yeh, Besim Torah, Behu echad v'yein sheni, Tilo v'yahira, V'li reishit, v'li tamid, V'lo ha'os, v'lo Yisra. Sleep, Kosi, Deo Mekra, Kosi, Deo Mekra, Hado Afirubi, Tisha,
Yahira, Bimruhi, Gibeati, Adonai li velo ira, Adonai li velo ira. We rise as we turn to page 77 for Vishamru, Kiddush, and Motzi. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat Israel et ha-Shabbat Lasot Shabbat ledorotam berit olam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam oti leolam oti leolam Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam Sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam King Berach Adonai Yom HaShabbat Vayikat Shehu Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Borei Pri Hagafen. Okay, guys, take a holla.
This is wine.
Huh? No, it isn't.
Yeah.
No, it isn't. Take it.
It's wine.
Okay, I had this one. What can I say? All right, take a holla. Wait, got to bless him first, Isaac.
Come on.
Okay, there you go. Right there. Isaac.
Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Please join the family in the social hall for Kiddush lunch. Shabbat shalom. Don't want any of my chocolate? You don't want a kiss from Rabbi? It's your big chance.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.